Hyper Now Hyper-V Replica in Windows Server 2016, it enables you to replicate a single virtual machine over a WAN or LAN network to another host. And replicate means it is actually a copy. Copy means it is like a running copy. It is not like normal copy, like when we copy, so it will not update. But it is like a running copy, replica. So when we change, so it will also change the replica of the virtual machine. That means whenever we update the main machine, so the changes will also be updated on the replica. So this one we can use it as a backup machine. Backup machine, not a backup. Backup machine, that means if suppose a main machine goes down, a primary machine goes down, then we can start the virtual machine from the replica. We can start the replica machine. It is actually the machine with the latest update. Now we can copy this in a WAN or LAN, both the networks. Like wherever we are having the connectivity, we can create the replica on the other host. These are the components for the replica Hyper-V. We have a replica engine, then we have the change tracking, we have network modules, and Hyper-V replica broker role. So we need these all things. These are the components. Replication engine manages the changes tracking, like whatever the changes happen in the primary virtual machine is going to update on the virtual machine replica. Network modules, which is need to replicate this changes or information from one server to other server. And also Hyper-V replica broker role, which manages all this. Now for planning the Hyper-V replica, we use the Hyper-V replica feature in Windows Server 2002 for change the replication frequency to either 30 seconds, 5 minutes or 15 minutes. That means we can change the frequency of changes, updating the changes from the main primary machine to the replica machine. So we can change it to 30 seconds to 15 minutes. Why? Suppose we want to make the changes quickly. That means whenever we have a change in the main machine, I just want to update it into directly the replica machine. So I will make the time or frequency less like 30 seconds. Or I can use more time if suppose I know that a machine will update not a short time, like it is not updating very quickly or frequently, so I can update the replica with some time. Now suppose if it is on WAN network, like if we have created the replica from one server to other server through the WAN network, then using the WAN network for sending the changes can be costly. It can cost, and it can do what it can allocate the bandwidth of WAN network. Now WAN network is not having a much bandwidth because of the price. So what we can do, we can define a time where we want to replicate the changes. So we can schedule the changes also, we can schedule the frequency of changes, and also we can schedule it very quickly, like 30 seconds to 15 minutes also. And also we can design the change, we can schedule the changes for some specific time. Then we can create the extend replication to include the third host also. That means we create one primary site. This is the site where we are having the main virtual machines are there. Then for the recovery, we create the recovery virtual machines in a replica site. We can create another replica site of the replica site. We can extend the replica. That means we can create the replica of the replica also. That means if suppose we lost the main site, also we lost the replica also, then we have the extended replica for that. So we can run the virtual machine from the extended replica site. So we can create the replica, and then we can create replica of the replica also. Now implementing the Hyper-V replica. Hyper-V replica has the following prerequisites. So it has to be fulfill these prerequisites before going for this Hyper-V replica. So first, the server hardware supports the Hyper-V role and Windows Server 2016. So first, our Windows Server 2016 server hardware must support the virtualization, must support the Hyper-V role. So in the servers, we have to install the Hyper-V role first. Then sufficient storage exists on both the primary and replica servers, so that when we create the virtual machine and when we create the replica, so it will have a sufficient space so that it can update the changes also. Then network connectivity exists between the location that hosts the primary and replica servers. So both the servers must be connected through the network. The primary server who is having the primary machines and the replica server who is having the replica machines. Then firewall rules are correctly configured to enable the replication between the primary and replica sites. So by default it uses the TCP port 80, that is HTTP or HTTPS, for transferring the replica changes. So we have to configure properly our firewall to allow the replication to go through. Then an X.509 version 3 certificates exist to support the mutual authentication with certificates. Now if we are using the third party authentication provider, that is, we can use the certificate to provide the security. We can provide the security for the authentication by using the certificates. So if we are using the certificate for authenticating the replication or encrypting the replication data, so that certificate also must be exist and both the party must support the certificates. Now this is the configuration steps for configuring the Hyper-V replica. So to configure the Hyper-V replica, first configure the authentication and port options. First we have to configure the authentication between both the servers. Then select the replica server which is we are going to create the replica. Then select the location for replica files and the replication interval, and then enable the replication on the virtual machine. Now after enabling the virtual machine replica, we can we do these scenarios, and why we use this replica: for test failover, for manual failover or failover. Now these are the test scenarios which we can use to see our Hyper-V replica is working or not. So to enable the Hyper-V replica, we have to go to the Hyper-V setting, and under the Hyper-V setting we have this option there. It is called replication configuration. Under the replication configuration we have to select how we can what we want. We want to enable the replication or not, and we want to use how we want to replicate the services, HTTP or HTTPS. Then we have to allow the replication from any authentication, or we can select the proper server. And then also we have to select the location for the replication. Okay, now this is my server 1, and on this server we have a Hyper-V installed, Hyper-V role. Now here what I want to do, I want to create a virtual machine here, and this will be the main virtual machine, main server, and on server 2 I will do what? I will create the Hyper-V replica. Now first what I will do, I will create a machine here so that I can create the replica of this. So first I will go for virtual machine here. This will be my VM 1. $512. I'll go for dynamic, connected to the network. Now remember, for configuring the Hyper-V replica, this machine must be able to connect or must be able to go through the network. So network must be configured as an external so that the virtual machine can send the replica changes to the replica server or replica virtual machine. Okay. And I'm going to install it later. So machine is created. I'll go to the setting of the machine. Now here for installation, I will select the physical drive. So it is going to select the installation drive from there, installation disk, and it can be installed and it can start the installation. Let's check the machine, is it working or not. Now this virtual machine is started and we have not installed anything here, so it is going to be installing. So it is starting the installation here. And as we can see here, it is starting the installation because the installation is not there. So machine is working. Now we want to create the replica for this machine. So I will do what? For now, I will shut down this machine, turn off. Now I want to create the replica for this virtual machine on the server 2. Now for creating the replica, you have to enable the authentication proper. You go to the Hyper-V virtual machine setting here, and there is an option for Hyper-V replication configuration. Now this is to configure the replication, accept the replication. This is to accept the replication. Now from here, we don't have to configure it because we don't want to accept the replication, we want to send the replication. So the machine which is wanted to accept the replication, like replication from the other server, that machine must be enabled with this setting. So I will go to server 2 and I will enable this Hyper-V replication. And also from here I will replicate. So I will go to server 2 now. Now this is our server 2, and on this server also we are having Hyper-V role. So I will go to Hyper-V manager. Now there is no virtual machine here. Okay, there is one virtual machine here. Now this one is not a replica. I'll do what? I will delete this so we don't have any confusion. Then we should have a virtual machine switch also. So also we have a switch configured here. Okay, so first I will do what? I will enable Hyper-V replica here, replica setting. So I'll go to Hyper-V setting here. I will go to replication configuration, and then I will enable this computer as a replica server. What is it saying? Enable this computer as a replica server. So replica server for the other machine. Now how you want to get the replication? So you can get the replication through the port number 80, which is not secure. Not secure, that means the connection or the data, when data go from one server to this server, that data will not be secure because it is coming through port number 80. But if you want to have a secure communication, then you need to enable the HTTPS. Now for using the HTTPS, it will use port number 443. Now for this we need the certificates, and we need the certificates here. Now there is no certificates available right now. It is saying no valid certificate found. So for doing this, for securing the communication, first we have to have the certificate installed. Now if we are doing it in the LAN network, then we can do it by HTTP only. But if we are using a WAN connection and we are creating the Hyper-V replica on the different location through the WAN connection, then we must need this, we must configure the HTTPS, because the data will go from one place to other place. So we need must certificates to secure the communication. But if suppose we are doing it for the local network and we know that our network is secure, then we can go by this HTTP connection. So right now I am doing it for my local network, so I'll go with this HTTP without encryption. Then down here we have to select that where which server you want to accept the replication. So you can add the specific server here, like you can allow the replication from the specified server. You can add the server here. You can create the trusted group, where you can create the trusted group where you can accept the replication, and you can mention the storage location where your replication data will store, or you can just accept from everywhere. Allow replication from any authenticated server. Now it is not just any, it is any authenticated server. Any authenticated server, that means because we are under the domain, so it will only accept the replication from the member of the domain, that is authenticated server. The server which is a member of the domain, that will be considered as a authenticated server. Or if suppose we want from the specific server, maybe suppose there is no domain, so we can go for this setting and we can add the server here. We can add the server name here, primary server. We can add the location, and also we can create the group for multiple servers also. So we can add the multiple servers into the same group. I will go with this because we are under the domain. So only authenticated servers can send the replication. So I can say allow a replication from any, and the replication data will store into this location. It is selected here, but we can browse and we can select the different location. This is the location for our virtual machines of this Hyper-V. So when we create the Hyper-V here, so our Hyper-V virtual machines hard disk are going to store here. So this is the default location, but if we want, then we can change it. So I said OK, allow the replication from port 80 and accept the replication from any server, any authenticated server, and then I will press OK here. It is saying that you have to configure the firewall also for inbound traffic to accept the traffic on port number 80 for Hyper-V replica. There is a Hyper-V role already there in the firewall. It is called Hyper-V replica HTTP listener TCP in rule. So you just have to enable that rule in the firewall. So it is giving you the warning information that after enabling this, you have to enable the rule in the firewall, inbound firewall. So I say OK. Now this is configured here. Server 2 is configured here now. Now we can go on to server 1 and we can create the replica for our virtual machine. Now I'm on server 1 and this is my virtual machine, and I want to create the replica for this virtual machine. So I can do that by right clicking on the virtual machine and selecting enable replication, or selecting the virtual machine, and down here I have an option to select the enable replication. Now when I select this, it opens the wizard here and it says that you are going to create the Hyper-V replica for this virtual machine, and this is what you are going to do. And it is saying that you have configured a server allow replication from this computer. To verify this, use the replication configuration page of the Hyper-V setting for the specified replica server to prepare for completing the wizard. You can learn more about this by clicking the help link. This is the help link. So okay, I know what I'm doing. Now it is saying select the replica server, the server which we want to create the replica. So I'll browse here and then I will select server 2 here. Now after selecting the server 2, I'll press next, and it has verified. It was verifying that the server is accepting the replication or not. Now if suppose the replication, we have not enabled the replication on that server 2 to accept the replication from this server, then what happened? It will give error here. It will give error here that the server is not accepting the replication. Now it has verified that the server 2 is accepting the replication, and it also verified that server 2 is accepting the replication on port number 80 and HTTP. It is not accepting the replication on port number 443 HTTPS, and you can see that option is not available here because we have not enabled it on server 2. So we have to select this. It is already selected. Then it is asking us the option to compress the data with the transmitted over the network. So it is going to compress the data also, which is going to be transferred on the network, so that it will transfer quickly. So whatever the changes happens in this server, it is going to be update on the replica server, and it will send the changes by compressing the data so that it can go quickly. So I'll go with this. Next, then it is saying that choose the replication VHD. The replication VHD, that means we are creating the replication for this VM1, and this VM1's hard disk, virtual hard disk, is in this location. Now sometimes in virtual machines we add multiple hard disks, multiple virtual disks. So if there is a multiple virtual disk, then we can have an option here to choose that which disk we want to create the replica. So basically when we create the replica of virtual machine, it is going to create the replica of virtual disk, because every changes, everything like operating system, software, data, everything is under that virtual disk. So it creates the replica virtual disk of the virtual machine. So if we have multiple virtual disks here, then we have an option to choose that which virtual disk we need to create the replica. For example, we have 3 virtual disks added into this virtual machine. In virtual disk, in the first disk we have operating system and application. In second and third disk we have data. Now I don't want to create the replica for data. I just want to create the data replica for my virtual machine and configurations and the applications, so that anything goes wrong, then I can get my virtual machine with configuration, with application. Now data, I will take the backup for that data. I will use a different thing for the data, because if we choose the data also, data can be very big, and if I choose the data also, then data will also try to replicate through the network from this server to other server. Now it can be a big data, and it can take a lot of time to update that changes there. So we have an option to choose the virtual disk which we want to create the replica. So we are having only one, so I'll go with that. Now it is asking us to choose the frequency at which changes will be sent to the replica server. So how frequently we want to change we want to send the changes. So 5 minutes is the default one. We can go for the less time, like 30 seconds. We can go for more, 15 minutes. That means after every 15 minutes, whatever the changes we have in this primary machine, it is going to be updated on that replica machine. So if you feel that your machine is changing very frequently, then you can choose the less time. And if you feel like your machine is changing not frequently, then we can go for 15 minutes. I will go with the default 5 minutes. Then you can select configure the additional recovery point. Now that means what? You can choose to store only the latest recovery point of the primary virtual machine on the replica server, or to add additional recovery points allow you to recover an earlier point in time. Additional recovery points require more storage and processing resources. So we can configure the additional recovery points for this virtual machine. Now maintain only the latest recovery point. Now latest recovery point, that means whenever the changes are going to be updated, so it is going to update and create the recovery point there. Now maintain only the latest recovery point, that means the changes which we have sent latest changes. Or we can create the additional hourly recovery. We can create this coverage provide by additional recovery points in hours. We can make 24 hours, or we can make less and more. And also we can use the volume shadow copy service to create a snapshot, and the frequency of that snapshot we can select here. It will be like creating the backup of the virtual machine. So I will go with the latest recovery point, and then I will go next. Now it is asking you to choose the initial method of replication. Initial method, that means right now whatever the condition of our virtual machine here, it is going to be updated on the replica server. So how you want to update it right now? Right now it is saying the size of the initial copy of the selected virtual disk is 4 MB. Now 4 MB because we have not installed any operating system into it. So it is saying 4 MB. Now if suppose it is having some data, it is having some operating system installed, so it will show you the size. Maybe it is 10 GB here. Now how you want to initially replicate? So first you can send the initial copy over the network. So if suppose you can afford to send 10 GB data on the network, then you can select this, and you know that the data can go through the network, you are having the fast network and you can go through the network. So you can send 10 GB data on the network right now. So you can select this. Now if suppose you are having the data 10 GB, suppose your hard disk size is 10 GB and you just can't afford to send it on the network because you are using the WAN network, and WAN networks are expensive and it is slow, so you just don't want to send it on the network, then what you can do, you can send it through the media. That means you can create a copy of media, and then you can insert that media into the other site. So this option will do what? It will copy the initial copy using the external media. So here it will create a file here of the initial changes, and that file you will use to update the changes on the other server. So you can browse the location here first, you copy the changes on the file, then you take the file to the other server without network. You don't need network for this. Then you copy the file there on the other server, and then you can insert that changes into the virtual replica, the replica machine. Now you will get the option to update the machine through the external media on that replica server. Then you have option to use an existing virtual machine on the replica server as the initial copy. Now for example, suppose operating system is 10 GB. It is taking a 10 GB size. Now sending the operating system, it is not, it is like sending the same thing. So you can do what? Instead of sending the virtual whole operating system copy, you can create the install. You can install the same operating system on the destination server, replica server, and then you can select this option. It says that use the existing virtual machine on the replica server. So on the replica server, you create the same machine, the machine which we have here on this server, and then you can select this, use existing. Now in this case, it is not going to send the operating system copy there because the operating system is already there. So it will only send the changes what we have in this machine, the application, configuration and all these things. So it will reduce the size of the replication, initial replication. And then when you select this option, you will get also this. It says the schedule initial replication. Now why we are getting this option? Because it is saying existing virtual machine. So virtual machine is already there. We just have to update the changes now. So you can select that how or where you want to change the where you want to update the changes. You can start replication immediately, right? Just right now when we finish the visit, or you can select the replication on the particular time. This is only for the initial replication. After initial replication is done, then after 5 minutes is going to replicate the changes. So if suppose your network is busy right now, so you can select the time when the network is free, and then the initial changes will be replicated. Or if suppose you want to replicate it right now, so you can select this option. But right now I will select this first option to send the initial copy over the network, and also send it immediately because my disk size is only 4 MB and I can send it through the network. So I'll go with this. So this is what we have selected now, and then finish. Now it has been replicated to the server 2. This is server 1. Now we'll go and check the server 2 now. Now this is our server 2, and here is the machine. Now it will remain off, it will not run because it is a replica. So it will not run, and it will update the changes here. And if suppose the main machine goes down, or if something happened to our main machine, then we can run this machine from here. So we can run this machine from here so that it can take over the configuration, it can take over the virtual machine configuration. So users will get the virtual machine from here if we lost the main machine. Now this is the replica. If I right click on it, so we have the replication setting here. Now what we have here in this replication, we have failover, test failover, pause replication, extend replication, view replication health, and remove replication. First check the health of the replication. So right now it is saying the health is normal, and from the time this to the time this, average size of this 4 MB size of the disk has been replicated. So the failover we have not tested till now. So this is the status of the replication. Now what if suppose the changes happens on the first machine, then we can see the changes here also. The changes also will be there. Right now there is no changes here. So let's see that from server 1. Now on server 1, what changes I will do? I will install the operating system here because the operating system is not installed. So I'm going to install the operating system here in this, and we can see the changes will be updated on that replica server also. So I'm installing it here. And I'm going to install it as a core. So I will go with the core now. Okay, so I'll go for its data center. Now I have started the installation, and when we update this, we update anything here, it is going to be updated on the replica server also. Like we have now installed this, so it is also going to update there. It has almost finished the installation. Now this is our core server which we have configured here, and right now it is just installed. Now the changes also updated on the other side, on that other virtual machine also. So the changes what we have done here, for example the installation we have done for the core server, so the same changes will also be updated on the replica server. Now how we can test the replica server is working or updating properly or not? We don't know because the server is off, it is not working, it is down. Now how we can know that the changes are updating there or not updating there, or whatever the changes we have done here, it is updated there or not? So for that, first we will check the health. So let's go to the other server now. This is our server 1. So we'll go to the replica server now. Now on the replica server, that replica virtual machine is not running, and it will not run because the main machine is still running. So if we want, then we can run it when the main virtual machine goes down or something happened to this main virtual machine. But is it updated or not updated? So we can try to check the health. So I will right click on it, select the replication option, and then I will say see the view replication health. Remember previously when we checked, it was saying the 4 MB size of the replication. Now we can see the size is what? 4 GB. It is saying that the replication is the health is okay, it is normal. It is saying the average size is 1.29 GB and maximum size is 4.64 GB. That means till now it is only 1.29 GB is updated, and it is going to update the full with the 4.64 GB. So it is going to update. Till now it has not updated the full settings here. So the full setting, when the full settings will be updated, it will be 4.64 GB, the full installation which we have done on the main server, on the main replica machine. Now because we have selected the updating time of 5 minutes, so it will take the 5 minutes to get the whole update here. Now we should always check that our Hyper-V, this replica machine, is properly working or not. Now for that we should not start the machine. If suppose we start this machine also, so the main machine is already there and this machine will also be started, so we can have a confusion there. We can have what? We can have the collusion, we can say, because if this machine is also connected to the network and that primary machine is also connected to the network, then the users who is using the virtual machine, they can have two machines at the same time. So we should not start this machine. But to test the machine, what we can do, we can right click on it, we can go to the application and we can test the failover. We can test the failover. Now test the failover will do what? It will create a copy of this replica machine here under this Hyper-V, and that machine we can start and check that whether it is properly replicated or not. So if we want to test the replica machine, so we can right click on it, go to the replication settings, and then we click on the test failover. Now when you select this, it will say that the last recovery point was this. At this time it was last updated 13:13. Right now it is 13:15, so it was last time updated on 13:30. So it is going to show you the checkpoint of that time. So I say okay, show me that. Now you can see it has created this test failover machine here. Now we can start this machine and we can see and verify the changes. We should not start this machine. This is the test machine. So we can start this test machine and we can see and verify the changes. Changes what we have made is properly replicating here or not. So we can start this test machine and we can check that the changes is properly replicating here or not. So I will see here that the changes is replicating here or not. Now we can see it is starting the installation. It is actually starting the machine, the same which we have installed on that primary server. We have installed the core server there. And now we can see it is running the core server here. Now the core server is showing here. That means the changes which we have made on that server, it is also updated here and it is properly working. So we can log in. We can verify the changes. Whatever changes we made on that server, we can see the changes is here or not. Whatever the application we install, whatever the configuration we do, whatever the changes we do on the main primary server, so we can test all these things here on this test server. Now after finishing the verification, finishing the testing, we can stop the testing here. We can right click on the replication server, this replication, and we can say stop the test failover. Now when we stop the test failover, it will stop and remove that machine. So it is removing that machine from here. So this is the option we have to test the replica. Is it working properly or not? Now if suppose the main server is down, then what we can do? We can start this replica, and for that we can use this option, failover. Now failover means our main primary machine is not working, it is down or something happened to the host server. Now we have this replica here and we can start this replica from here. So failover means it is going to take over and the main machine is down and this machine is not now ready to start. So this option will do when we have lost the main machine. Now our main machine is running, so we don't need to start this. Now it will do what? It will start the machine here. Then we can also do what? We can pause the replication here. That means if you don't want to do the replication, suppose it is taking lots of bandwidth of your network, making your network slow. So you feel that just right now I just want to stop the replication so that we can get the bandwidth back. So we can pause the replication for some time. Then we can do extend the replication also. That means we can create a one more replica of this replica itself. That means this machine itself a replica of another machine, and we can create the replica of this machine also on the third server. So we can extend the replica. So if suppose we lost the primary server, primary virtual machine, then we can start this replica machine, and when suppose we lost this replica also, then we can start the extended replica also. This is to test the health, and this is to remove the replication. This will completely remove the replication. This machine will become normal. It will not be the replica now after removing the replication. Now on the other side, on the main side, like on the primary server, on the primary virtual machine, when we do the right click and check the replication option, so what options we see here? So when you right click on this primary machine, on the replication, we see these options. This is planned failover, pause the replication, view the health, and remove the replication. Remove to remove the replication, view the replication health to view the health, and then pausing for the pausing the replication, like if you want to, if you don't want to do the replication, pause the replication. Then planned failover. The planned failover, we have option to do the planned failover also. Now planned failover, that means suppose the main machine is down. Suddenly the server is down, something happened to this host server, and we have to remove the server. Now we have to fix the server. Now the virtual machine is not running. So this is not planned. This is just happened. So we can go to the replica machine and we can select failover there. We can right click there and we can select the failover option there. Now here we have planned failover option. Now planned failover, that means if suppose machine is running properly, our host is also running properly, but suppose we have to do some maintenance job in this server 1, the host server. We want to do some maintenance job. Now at the time of the maintenance job we do, this virtual machine is going to be stopped. But the users are using this virtual machine, and that users won't want to stop the virtual machine. Then what we can do? We can do the planned failover. Planned failover, that means this machine will be assumed as a failed here, and the replica machine we can now start. So we can stop the machine here and we can do whatever we want to do on this server 1, and then we can go to start the replica machine from server 2. So the users who is using the virtual machine, they can use it from server 2, and on this server we are going to stop this and we can do our maintenance job. This is what the planned failover. It is not a sudden failure. It is what we are doing by planning it. So what we can do, we can right click here and we can say I want to do the planned failover. Now when we select the planned failover, what it says here first? It says two options: reverse the replication direction after failover. That means after the failover completes, then it will reverse the direction. Reverse the direction, that means this machine will back to become the normal, a primary machine, and the server 2 machine will be the replica machine. And this one says start the replica virtual machine after failover. Now when we do the failover here, so the replica machine will start. So we want now after this failover, that replica machine will become the primary machine and this one become the replica. So what do we want to do? We want to reverse it after the failover, or we want to start the replication now. Now for failover, it is checking the prerequisites. The prerequisites are: check that virtual machine is turned off. Now to do the failover, first prerequisites is that this machine must not be running. So it will not done, we can't do the failover. So we have to first do what? We have to stop this machine first. So I will shut down this machine. Then I can do the planned failover. So now this machine is off. Now I can do this planned failover. So when I select the planned failover, So it is checking this prerequisites, and then we'll go to select the failover. So it will check the prerequisites. If it is fulfilled, that means the server, this machine is off, then it can go for planned failover. Okay, let's see. Now see, prerequisites is successful. So it is sending the data to the replica, successful. Fail over the replica, it is in successful now. Then start the replica virtual machine, and now this machine is off. Now when we go to the server 2, we can see the machine is started here automatically, because we have selected there that the machine, replica machine, must be started. Now this one is started here, and the other machine is not running now. The users who's using this machine, they can use it from here, and we can do the maintenance job on server 1. So we can do the maintenance job on server 1. Now when I right click here on the replica, so what I see here, reverse replication, remove recovery point, cancel the failover, or view the replication health and remove the replication. So here, after doing the failover, what we can do, we can cancel the failover from here, so that it will go back to the normal thing, and the other machine is not is now available. We can remove the recovery points, and we can reverse the replication direction also. And on server 1, what we see, on server 1, this machine is not running. Now we can do our maintenance job on this server 1. Now after finishing the maintenance job, when our server is ready to use, then what we can go and right click on this replication, and then we can cancel the planned failover, so that it will cancel the planned failover and it will go back to normal. So I will cancel now. It says, are you sure? I say yes. We can cancel it from server 2 also. Now the failover is cancelled now. Now when I right click here, so now what I can see here, the normal options now. Now if I want to start this machine, but first we have to make sure that other machine is not running. Now in server 2, this machine is running, so we should not start the machine on server 1. So here, if I right click on replication, so here I have option to reverse the replication or cancel the failover from here also. Now this one is stopped, and we can now start this machine from the main server. It is cancelling the failover, it is successful. Now when I right click here, I have those normal options, and then when I go back to server 1, so on server 1 we have the machine now, and now we can start the machine. Under the replication we have the normal option now. So now we can start our machine here from our main server. So this is what the replica machine, we can create the backup of the copy backup of the virtual machines for having a backup. So if suppose something happened to our main server, main virtual machine, then what we can start the machine from the replica. So this is what